Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Boks Office. Skalkberger and Jean de Villiers are patiently waiting for me upstairs. I managed to go to Wynberg instead of Bishops, some communication error, but it's a big weekend today as the Springboks take on Argentina to see who can win the rugby championship for the first time since 2019. We're going to be discussing all of that today on the Boks Office, which is now open.
There's a nice swimming pool there. Yes. Talk to me.
Guilty.
Really asked so nicely to be at 2:45 so we can get it out at 4. You guys got a nice off week now.
Okay, so let's start. Yeah. Okay, we're on air now. We're live. Okay, we're good to go. What are you doing this weekend, John?
Welcome.
What are you doing this weekend? Since
Welcome, Shimmie. Would you like to tell the viewers that you were late?
Okay. So I heard we're changing the recording time.
Yes.
Then I got a message from Nick Groom, the director of rugby at Wynberg. He said, I heard you guys are filming the Boks Office at Wynberg. I said, yes, we've got to share the love on the Boks Office and let Wynberg get involved. We've done Ronwash. We've done Bishops, obviously. I said, okay, cool, we're coming there. So I didn't confirm with anyone else except for him. So I went to Wynberg. I went to open the pavilion door there. There's no one there.
No one.
I looked around, no cameras, nothing. Then I thought, let me just call. We still at Bishops. So I broke every driving record from Wynberg to Bishops.
Because also
in between trucks at SAB. I was just like, come around the corner. So I went around the back past Newlands. They've got trucks now going into SAB.
Yeah. Oh, no.
I had to go in between the trucks there, over the dirt road, over the top here. It's only 7 minutes late. No, 15.
It's the one show where they asked us to be early as well, eh?
It's the one show where I said, come on.
Why don't you wear your suit? Why don't you at work today?
We forgive you.
Where's your suit?
Shimmie, it's fine. You do your intro.
Don't understand.
Where's your suit?
Move the conversation.
Look at that. You look like you got a yacht down at the waterfront with that outfit.
Yep, because I do.
Has everyone recovered from the All Black week 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was. I didn't have a tough week. It was work-wise, it was busy, but I didn't. From a social point of view, I was actually pretty good.
I had a tough week socially, and then to recover, I went to the Sereskarua, Tankwa.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
For my brother's lucky
40th.
Which was like a mini Africa burn. So I was straight back into the Sunday misery, Shimmie. Got home.
How bad was it? How many days were you there for?
I was between the Bokkerveld from Wednesday night. I was there, and then I went to the Tankwa, the Karoo, camped, came back on Sunday. Dusty.
Is it?
But it was good.
How big was the crowd?
We were about 20 of us. It was lovely.
In the bush there?
Yeah. Before that, I did a little bike ride with the Myriad group. There were 70 of us cycling.
From where to where?
Just around the Bokkerveld, like 45, 50 Ks a day for 3 days.
Mountain?
As you do.
In the mountain. It was awesome. It was amazing, except a little bit cold in the
Do they
morning.
still have snow there?
So basically, every morning, everything was frosted, and like just the top of the mountains got a bit of snow.
Yeah, so what the mini Africa burn or whatever you want to call it. So wait, what, tents there? Where do you shower there?
Yeah, no, so like I was set up in my camp, but there is ablutions, and there's also a nice big swimming pool. It's actually at the old Africa burn site where they used to do it. They moved it to a new site a couple of years ago. And it's got a cool bar, Shimmie.
And you guys all dressed up and everything? And
all dressed up, and my brother was man of the match, as per usual. I think he did about 12,000 steps on Saturday, just toppling over. Didn't really fall, didn't hit the deck. I was convinced he's going to. He did 12,000 steps, and yeah, it was a sight to behold. But like I did my best to try and keep up, and I dropped him off at home safe.
Is it?
And
It's far though, eh? How long's that drive?
yeah, it's far. It's just because that's gravel road.
Yeah.
That gravel road, it eats tires for a living, so you're sort of 4.5 hours from Cape Town.
Would you do Africa Burn? Should we do Africa Burn Boks Office?
100%.
Where the showers? That's 100%. Where do you wash there? Where are the bathrooms? All of that.
You take some water and soap.
The closest I came to doing that was, remember myself, Skalk Brits, and John did that.
Oh,
The walk
yeah.
from Veneerpan.
Banner,
on the salt pan.
How many kilometers did you walk again?
200.
You guys lost, eh?
I started getting blisters after 20 Ks.
No ways.
180.
But you guys lost, eh?
Yeah, well, comrades runners. The cricketers don't mind because they're used to standing in the sun all day long. And the football players
That's
were
what I
crying.
like. I mean, obviously the big Red's done some distance on a bike. How was he walking 200 kilometers.
Look, I'll tell you what. There was a stage where I think the guys that were filming us were taking bets on whether John was going to make it or not. Look,
And you were strong. You were obviously strong.
No, I wasn't strong. I made it. But John eventually made it, but he was in hospital the day after. He spent like a couple of days in hospital.
No way.
Because he had some infection afterwards. Yeah, I said some viral infection.
Oh, no.
But there's a stage where I think the doctor, I still remember this, the doctor was like, John, how are you feeling? And John was like, okay, but you could see the guy wasn't right because he didn't want to get pulled out.
Fine. Fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
He didn't want to get pulled out. He didn't want to get pulled out of this thing. So he just basically told the doctor he's fine. And he ended up in hospital.
That's
He
dangerous.
ended up in hospital.
It's also not the easiest place to get to. Did you drive up there?
No, we actually
Did you had an airplane go in it?
private jet.
Geez, sorry, Shimmie.
Private jet landed there. We stayed at
Kennard.
Kennard. Yeah,
Kennard Hotel.
they got that bar there.
We've been there.
Yeah,
You've been there?
Butchie was our team manager.
Yes.
He was our team manager. So
We went there. Was it before they did it?
Just before that.
Probably
like
a
3 or 4
couple of
months,
No, I think it must have been a couple of weeks before before you did that whole thing. And we were staying at this hotel. So it was the owner and one more guy.
Also Skulk.
Yeah. So we were 5 people in the bar.
There's 3
3 of
Skulks.
them named Skulk.
Me
Skulk.
and the other guy,
Yeah.
also Skulk.
So I'll tell you a story. So we get there, and everyone thought, okay, there are these rugby guys coming here. So I walk out there. This one family comes, they take pictures, this and that. The whole family's in the car. As I turn around and walk away, the one kid says, "Thank you, Beast." I don't have the guts to tell him I'm not Beast. Just turn and walk
No,
away.
man, he meant you a beast. He meant you a beast. You're a big guy.
Thank you, Beast. I don't have the guts to tell him. Well, they would have figured it out anyway. So, let's go to rugby, guys. Do you guys see the Black Ferns meeting the king at the
not.
back? At
No,
Buckingham Palace?
I did not.
Okay, well, that actually doesn't lead into my next story. It makes it different. Okay, rugby, you get to meet a lot of dignitaries.
Yeah.
Who's the most famous people you guys have met?
Geez, I think we've all we were privileged to have the big man, Madiba,
Yeah.
quite a few times with our side. And he was good omen for us whenever he came to us.
Never lost.
No, he never lost.
At Madiba's funeral at Soccer City.
Yeah.
So they had the big thing and they had all the dignitaries over there. And that day, it was like the who's who in the world was there.
I remember.
And we got, we were like sitting in one of the suites at the stadium, and it was like right next to the presidential suite. And we're sitting there, front shop, myself. We're sitting there with our Springbok blazers on, whatever. And the guy and a girl comes walking past and sits right in front of us. Like, they're sitting right here in front of me. Charlize Theron and Bono.
Oh.
But they're right in front of us. Sat down, but I didn't speak to her. I was too,
Stage fright, Johnny.
I was too shy.
Yeah.
But at that one, it was like Obama was there, the Clintons were there, so I won't say I've met them, but I was
In the same box.
in proximity. Drew Brees.
Yeah.
You met him. You did another ad,
Yeah.
another promotion. What
Yeah.
was that again? That was the one in Stellenbosch. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Did he
He's
still
a
have
very
it?
cool guy.
Did he still have it?
Yeah. He still has it, and I've got his WhatsApp number. I can WhatsApp him.
Give me call him now. It's what time is it in America?
Let's see if they-
Call him. Call.
That's it.
FaceTime call. Jean, I dare you to. FaceTime call.
No, I don't have any data.
No, Jean, FaceTime call him. Let's see.
There's no chance I'm doing
Is he
it.
coming with
Okay,
us?
give it to I'll do it.
Bring him with us to the Africa Burn Boks Office.
He's a very cool guy.
Is it?
I must say, Flip, so down to earth, and
But no one would know he is in South Africa.
yeah, that's the thing. Like, I suppose, because him and Brady were basically the best ever, right?
Drew Brees was what? New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, but in terms of stats and all of that, they were, and then Brady obviously, played a little bit longer, and then he overtook him. But Drew Brees, it just feels that if Brady's like really good in promoting himself, and
Drew Brees has sort of disappeared.
yeah, more of a quiet,
Tom Brady did his television review as a pundit,
yeah.
a debut. Yeah. I don't think our contract at
nice contract,
our contract at Boks Office doesn't quite look the same. Just at least
He's over what? 300 and something. 300.
Yeah, it's a 10-year contract
For
for
10 years.
350
Yeah.
or something.
It's a lot of dollars, obviously. We don't get that in rands. But is he happy, Shimmie? That's the big
I
question.
really want to know. Is he happy?
That's the big question. You know, I went through a divorce.
Oh,
Does he
geez.
see his kids? You know?
No, I can guarantee.
He's truly happy.
I-
He find balance in his life.
I can probably talk for him. I think he's happy.
You think so?
Were you guys
happy.
there talking about meeting the great President Mandela? Remember the one Australia game?
Yes.
I can't remember when he was in the tunnel because he wasn't allowed
Yes.
to. He was
2005.
aging then, he wasn't allowed on the field, 2005. And we ran up the tunnel just before we went to go after the warm-up, and he was waiting at the top there.
Yeah.
That's one of the best ones, I think. There.
But didn't someone, was it Griggs or someone who said, like when they saw that, they knew?
I know.
Greg, obviously, he told us the story.
Yeah,
but
did he?
He never went to his teammates, but he thought to himself, shit, we're not going to win today.
Yeah.
Diva's
there.
there, guys. There's no way we're winning
Like we
today.
even got him out to Pretoria once to greet the Welsh side, and Colin Chavez apparently said that's when he knew. They took 60 or whatever. That's also where they play. That's also where they played the trick, where they basically lined up all the Joneses.
Yeah.
All 6 of them, and they got to number 7, and apparently Madiba said, "Let me guess, another Jones." And he said, "No. Who else was the guy standing there?" So,
Those were the great ones. Eddie Jones won this weekend.
yeah,
Samoa.
I didn't watch any rugby this week, and there was no reception where I was. What was the score, Shim?
I have no idea. It was a 20-point win.
Good conversation.
No, but where we're going is you got coached by Eddie.
Yes.
What was that like? You also, I mean, you would have worked more with Eddie, isn't it?
Yeah, with the World Cup.
Yeah.
But remember, my time at the World Cup was very short. But I did
No, but I
work
mean, the build-up is about
Yes.
a 6-month build-up to the World Cup.
No, I thought he brought like it was just a new voice, and more than anything, you know, and certain technicalities that he worked on, which I really enjoyed, because now suddenly you just come with a different perspective. He obviously coached against us a lot, and now he would say, okay, well, look at this rather than this. This is what you were really good at. This is where you were lacking, etc. And to me, that was one of the benefits of Jake as well. He's always been able to bring guys in that makes the coaching group
Not
stronger.
being intimidated by it, because so often you have coaches that coach you, but they bring another big personality, and there's no bigger personality than Eddie Jones in World Rugby. Then, you can sort of, feel out of your nose out of joint type of thing. But Jake didn't get flustered by that. I think for me, Eddie was, quite important because he brought a little structure to our forwards. The way we attacked before that was, I guess, we often say that now on this podcast, where's one pass ruck, and then Eddie brought in a little structure in around, especially me, I guess, where I could, pick off a few runners, and Donnie Rousseau running off me a lot, Johan Smith, so we could get a little passing game on, which I think, I started back then, and then, I think added massive value to my skill set later on. So, I enjoyed working with Eddie. We had him at the Barbarians once.
Yeah,
Him and Jake at the
Him and Jake, and both of
2008.
them were out of jobs. So, Jesus, as far as Barbarians coaches go, I don't think you can have a more intense couple. And remember, me and Jerry Collins, we got there. We beat England by 40 points, 42 points to 6. So it was a record score until France did it. Put 50 past them. When was that? 2 years ago now.
yeah.
So we obviously had a big Saturday, and then me and Jerry just kicked on, and we went.
Were you and Jerry roommates?
No, we weren't.
Okay.
But the loose forwards was Richie, Jerry, and myself. So Richie came the first night, and then he started with his game prep. But me and Jerry then carried on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But we get called in on Thursday, and Eddie sits us down, and Jake sits next to him and said, "Listen, guys, what are you on about?" And they've been reviewing the footage of where we're coming in. So Sunday, 2:00. Monday, 3:00.
A room interrogation, yeah.
And then Tuesday, whatever, early night, 1:30. And now we know the big one's coming, because Wednesday night we came back at like 6:00. And before they get to tell us, and Wednesday, Jerry goes, sorry, Eddie, sorry, Jake, can I please have a double vodka and soda, please? And then I couldn't leave him hanging, so he's like, can I please have a lager? But anyway, we got playing, and then both of us, we had a bit of guilt feeling, so we had to get stuck in. And then afterwards, to Eddie's credit, he came there with 2 bottles of vodka and a case of beer for me. He says, whatever you did this week, we should do every week. And both me and Jerry's like, no, that was the only week a year I can do that.
Who are you guys playing against?
We played against Australia, lost. What was it, like 11-9 or
It was at Wembley. We played at Wembley.
Were you also playing? Were you also,
Yeah.
So where were you when they were going on?
No, was there too?
Oh, you were also part of the mix.
Some nights.
One night.
The one and done.
One night and then you're done.
But and I remember, was it Sekope Kepu, one of the Australian props
Yeah.
that
There was two went on it. Did his
ruptured
Achilles.
his Achilles.
Yeah, that's right. It was
Because of the
uncontested
pitch.
scrums at the-
Yeah, because the pitch gave in a bit. It was a great experience.
Yeah.
Who was your roommate then?
Rico Gia.
He's a good boy.
Yeah.
I had Mark Regan. Remember him?
the
Hooker.
hooker.
From Bristol. And then one night late, like every night he came in.
But he's busy though.
So yeah, and then he wanted to like wrestle me, and I said, mate, I'm gonna fuck you up. And this one night we got in together, and he was pushing, and I went on a bed, and he came for me, and I basically just picked him up, dropped him into the bedside table, and he slept there the whole night. Next morning he's like, what happened? I said, no, I just chucked him into the bedside table, and a big knob on top of his head. But anyway.
Was this what one of those guys wants to
Not
wrestle
as
him?
bad as John did to Victor Matfield on top of the hotel in Bariloche, but it was something similar.
Why are you quiet, John? You worried? Are these the old demons? He's tapping his foot here. The anxiety's coming back. You start worrying me.
I'm thinking just Argentina this weekend and the amazing times we had in Argentina.
Jeez.
Over
Well,
the
that's
years.
the one trip you miss. Like I'd love to go back there.
You know what was
Australia, we just go to Argentina. We don't
you
need
know
to
what
go
was the
Australia.
best trip ever I had to Argentina was actually playing sevens, and we flew.
Mendoza.
We flew.
Yeah, I think they were by Mar del Plata.
In Mar del Plata.
Mar del Plata,
Okay, so we left South Africa. I think it was the 30th or the 31st. We either arrived in Argentina on 31 December or the 30th of December. I can't remember which it was. Okay,
Yeah.
so now it's holiday season over there.
Beach.
You get there and it's right on the beach. You go into town during the day, like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock lunchtime, and there's no one. There's like literally no one in the city. You know, no cars, nothing. Everyone's either on the beach. The beaches are absolutely packed, or they're sleeping. We played in the final actually against Argentina.
Marcelo Bosch, did he play?
No, I don't know if Marcelo played. I can't recall, but Felipe Contempomi played. Juan Martin Hernandez played. Agustin Pichot, I think, played as well.
Fernandez Lobe?
I can't
Yeah.
remember. But they had a strong team. They beat us in the final. We have the post-competition dinner, like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Jeez.
Okay, and from there you go out.
Yeah.
So and then you walk in that same street which you walked in at 1 o'clock p.m.
Nothing going on.
and packed. You can't. You can hardly drive because there's so many people in the streets. So unbelievable. That was your.
Who's your wingman there? Who was your wingman?
I can't remember.
He wasn't a great wingman then.
I'm trying to think now.
Who was in there?
Then he
Dale
wasn't-
Hayes-
can't remember.
Dale
Wasn't a
Hayes-
great-
Brent Russell.
Oh, Brent.
Harry Brits. I think myself and Harry actually roomed then.
Yeah.
Fabian Juries. Faba. He's always good
Sevens
value.
legend.
Jeez, how good was he?
Sevens legend. Absolute legend on the field.
Yeah. No,
He
legend.
was one of the first South African guys
Amazing.
to dominate that scene.
But also Brent that year.
Brent.
Was really good. The whole game just suited him.
What was Brent's best position at 15s?
Probably 15.
Fullback, eh?
Yeah, probably 15.
Not wing.
No, I don't think so.
Counter-attack, fullback.
Went
hits the
to run-
ball.
the
Not
right
fly off
foot.
because of the kicking game.
Remember when he played that trial match? When was
Yes.
that?
That's how I made Springboks. Yeah.
2.
Two.
He was playing for the Pumas.
Yeah.
It was the year before that I saw him play Province under 20s with us, or 21 with you, a year before me. When I arrived, and then yes, he came on at fly-off and was next level.
No,
in
he
the
was
trial game.
electrifying. That's after that season we had with the Sevens. He was just on a high then. I played that
So
trial.
fast, eh?
I played in those trials as well in Pretoria.
I remember that.
Okay.
Yeah, I got like 2 minutes, I think.
Know what happened? You made the Springboks.
No, only end of the year.
But what do you mean you got two? You came off the bench?
No, in the trial.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it was at Loftus.
Yeah, at Loftus. Yeah.
He got 2 minutes.
No, I only played like 2 minutes in the trials.
Didn't get injured there. He
Yeah, exactly.
He got
So
injured
that's what I'm
then.
trying to understand how you got the 2 minutes. You came off the bench.
I came off the bench. Because they
So who were
used
the
multiple players.
Who were the centers then?
It was De Vet.
Marius.
No, not Juba. Flecky.
Yeah.
Trevor Halstead, I think, got a couple of games
Yeah.
that year.
You would have been a teeny bopper then. You would have been, what, 20 years old or something?
I was 21.
Yeah.
21.
See her back at the Sharks, boys?
Siamasuku.
No. You like you love Siamasuku. Every time we mention Shark.
Yeah,
Obviously, the Springbok captain back in the country.
No, it's
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's fantastic to see
Jeez,
that.
that's just such a surprise, eh? Yeah, they've kept it a secret for so long.
But tell me, after, I mean, the French, the racing metro president, after that, I think that the damage was almost irreparable. The comment he made about Sia being overweight, whatever. He said, what did he say? I got it here.
And
Was
transparent.
out of shape, gained weight, and transparent. You're never going to fix that.
No, you don't. You just don't say stuff like that about a player, and especially a high-profile player like that. I think, but also, guys, let's just be honest here. Going overseas, moving with your family, especially with him, young kids, etc. That is
It's a
never
big move.
easy.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's never easy, and especially the language barrier. You know, going to a different country. If it was England, you know, where you can speak English, far easier. So it was always going to be difficult, and it's normally also you need at least 18 months to really, because it's tough for anyone the first year.
I
You
guess
need
it's-
18 months to really settle.
It's kind of, you were in Japan. I mean, they talking about language.
Yeah.
It's culturally completely different to what we used
Yeah, but
to.
also you did the first
Yeah, like first year
couple of
was
seasons was
I did both of them coming back here. So like the first year I was there for about 8 months. Second year
With
was
family, yeah.
with a family, 3-month-old kid and a 20-month-old kid.
but that's different.
Different, yeah.
Yeah, not
You
at
have
not
kids
at
at
school,
school.
yeah.
It's
And then the second year there was the modern structure now, like the shorter one. You know, we didn't play the Japan Cup, which was a knockout competition like a FA Cup. But like, I mean, I think as a rule, our South Africans go outstanding overseas. You know, guys that I never thought will make it over there. I mean, loved it. Jacques Cronje, you know, comes from Pretoria. Did his entire career there.
Ricky
He's a
January.
basic metro, yeah, for-
Ricky January.
He's still there.
Ricky
Still there.
January.
He's still there.
Yeah.
Andy Adams
and
doing
then-
well. He's coaching
then
you-
at Bordeaux.
Bordeaux.
Then you look at our bunch of guys who's going to cross to a French side and won Heineken Cups.
Yeah.
You know, from Dylan Leitch to Raymond Rule to then the super generation of Toulon who won 3 in a row with Johan Smith, Bakkie Spuiter, Joe Vernieker, Brian Banner did a
Donnie
couple,
Rousseau.
Donnie Rousseau,
The guys of, yeah,
Craig Burden.
yeah.
But it's amazing.
over there.
It's amazing that Sia's back.
Yeah.
Back in the country. You know, I just think it's fantastic for him, for the country, as the leader of the Springboks, for his brand, for what he means and what they do in terms of society and the charitable stuff that they do. You know, so it's
good to have him back.
it's fantastic.
I mean,
Look,
Murat Boudjelal come up with some beauties. He wanted to send Sevilla off for genetic testing. They thought he swapped.
They
They thought they got the wrong brother, yeah.
Those French owners, but I suppose, I mean, Stuart Lancaster came out this week saying it was, you know, the friction between Sia's international ambitions, but you're never going to have a happy player if you say you can't play for your country.
Yeah.
Whereas I know from the Japanese guys, they take a lot of pride in the guys playing for South Africa and winning World Cups. And doing well.
Status thing, yeah.
Whereas it's completely different. You know, the Japanese, we're happy for you to go, you're representing our company, us, go do your thing and honor us out there.
Yeah.
Whereas the French say, no, you sign with us.
Yeah.
That's it. You stay here and you play for us, which is wrong, I think, because you'll never have a happy player.
The one thing you've got to do, though, when you go abroad is play rugby. You can't go across, and I think Eben was the example of that, where he didn't play that much for Toulon.
Yeah.
You know, like you've got to go up there and front up every weekend. And you've got to have the same ambition when you get there, because I mean that's important for them. You know, so and it is hard when you start traveling. You go back and forth, and you know, let's be honest. You know, playing international rugby, it's the biggest thing. But you've got to have the same output or close to the same output when you play for your club. In saying that, you know, if I signed Sia, I would never say that the oak is overweight and invisill. You know, you'll try and harness him and try and keep him on board.
The thing, I think with Sia as well, and I read a short piece on that where I think his intention was probably to retire from international rugby post 2023. But then with the success in you can't just give that up.
No.
You know, after being so
Especially if your body feels good and you're still
Yes.
good to go.
you want to play international rugby. So yes, if he maybe it would have been different had he retired from international rugby and then you kind of build a career at the new club. You finish off your career basically there. But the fact that he's still going strong at international level, it just makes so much sense to have him back in South Africa.
But South African players sought after overseas. Though. If you look at globally, which players, most teams want South Africans in their
Yes, we've got a lot of them.
in their
They're
in their
everywhere.
clubs.
Like I would say, like especially in the beginning, say in Japan, it was probably Australia and New Zealand that dominated that market space. But now South Africans are so sought after, and I think there's a couple of things. Work ethic. I the fact that our youth structure is so brutal that you get 2 years, you don't perform, you're gone.
Bye. There's another generation.
There's another.
Coming in.
You arrive there, you can't catch a kickoff. You're not getting coached to get better. Other comes, catches a kickoff, they tell you, okay, off you go. So, these kids get across there, get a second shot at becoming a pro rugby player, and they're just absolutely desperate to make it. And their work ethic, and also they feel a lot, South African players. They don't like losing.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important.
Yeah, the fact that I think we take a lot of pride in the way that we sell ourselves as individuals, but also as South Africans. So you're not going to go there to a club and just be there and take the paycheck at the end of the month. It's a personal thing. It's a pride thing. Every time you play, you play to win, and I think the fight element that we have. We don't give up. I think it's due to the circumstance of South Africa, and also some have it far tougher than others. But we're a nation where we find solutions to because problems have been part of and issues have been part of our lives since day one.
And I guess,
we find solutions.
I guess that sort of solves our problem. We're talking about Sia being captain, and we've never had a Springbok captain that's been based abroad.
Yeah.
So obviously it solves the captaincy for us. Obviously, I think all of us are still thinking, like if Sia is not playing, if he has a weekend off, who's the next captain, So.
But even that, I
Talks
think.
about a squad for your season.
Yeah, if he's got a weekend off,
full
I think
strength,
that's
they're
easy.
unbelievable.
That's an easy fix when you get a weekend off. It's more the long term.
Yeah.
But before we move away from the
Don't
French,
say sorry. Yeah.
you don't have to say that every week.
Okay, it was funny last time.
It can become a constant.
Okay.
Every time.
Now it's getting irritating.
Okay.
Yeah. It was funny last week. It's irritating this week.
I think the control that the French rugby union and the top 14 rather, and the premiership have on world rugby. So the decision for them to not want to have Sia to play international rugby, I think fits into where French rugby in the top 14 sits, where they don't really mind. About the internationals that much. They have their competitions, long competitions throughout the year. I don't think they'll be able to, let's say, a world rugby or the rest of the world comes to them and say, no, we need to shift the top 14 to a different time slot.
Season.
They don't care.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think and they've got an extremely strong competition. So
It's a good competition.
you need to protect what you have. You need to protect the
I'm right that they started last week already.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they also the
They go
ones
longer.
that always overrun. That's why whenever they come to us in June, their top players aren't available because they either playing into their semi or their final.
Just
and
too many
send
games.
second stringers out.
Talking about seasons and competitions, you are seeing now the news that the Premiership wants to invite the Irish teams to join them in that league.
Yeah.
And it's the Welsh, Scots, and obviously us and Italians are out, or we by ourselves. What do you make of that?
Well,
Commercially, you look at it from an Irish point of view, for them to join the Premiership, travel just across the ditch, big games every weekend. It does spice things up for the Irish teams.
Yeah, they'll have a couple of teams back that went bankrupt before.
Yeah.
It's one way to fill 4 teams.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, but what do you mean by that?
Wasps are gone, London Irish gone.
No, I know, but I mean they'll just take the
Worcester's gone.
They'll just take the 4 Irish.
4 Irish teams, yeah.
That's
to
what I
make up
said.
the
Add it to
numbers.
the 10.
So that's what I said.
Yeah.
Then they're getting 4 sides back that got relegated, or not relegated.
Yeah.
Went bankrupt. I think the
Look,
Premiership.
the URC denied it,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Denial is not only a river in Africa.
yeah.
The
John, you can't be saying the same trip for 20 years.
it's a good one though.
I've heard that so many.
I think the
He's
Premiership.
still laughing.
The Premiership will kick themselves that they didn't close the system off, close it to 14 teams. I don't know, what's it, 6-7 years ago? I think there was a massive gap for them. And then by now they would have, I think will probably be one of the stronger leagues for them and maybe the French leagues. But the fact that we went to URC and URC is growing at a rapid rate because of the South African influence.
Yeah.
I think it's got potential to be the biggest competition, club competition in the world.
Look, you have to, and we kind of started it now as well, you know, mainly because we got kicked out in a way from Super Rugby, but also that forced us to look at alternatives, okay? And what is, same as what I mentioned about the top 14, what is best for South African rugby and the South African franchises? And then you find a home in terms of that.
Yeah.
I think for the Premiership, for Ireland, you're probably going to start looking at scenarios like this more, where guys say, okay, well, what's best for us? Because...
Isn't that the problem with rugby, though? It can be quite self-serving at times.
Yeah, I think all professional sport.
Yeah, I think... But okay, let me go back. What does a global season look like practically to you guys then? Where do South Africa belong?
Yeah, well, we've got to fit in with the North now, don't we?
Yeah.
And we've got to invite the rest of the world to join in on the same.
Yeah.
I think
So what are we? Without now, like obviously this is post-World Cup year, then there's always a bit of a drag on. But if we have to reset it, I think you play from, start your season September, and then run through. Obviously Six Nations stays where it is. They won't move that. That's the biggest money spinner in an international game in between Rugby World Cups. And then, you know, the championship's got to fit in somewhere, and we've got to have those June tours down to South Africa.
the global season is more the time frame of when you play rugby and when you have a break.
Yeah.
That to me is the important thing, because then you start at a certain date and everyone finishes at a certain date, and then there's a gap where there's no rugby, where you can have other stuff happening. Maybe that's the slot where sevens comes in. But the fact that it's so disjointed, no one understands it and you can't follow it, where every other sport in the world, it's not like that. You don't have you don't have people functioning on different
John's
times
mentioned
of the
it
year.
before, but the cleanest one we've had when we were in the Southern Hemisphere was the old Super Rugby inbound tours, the old Tri-Nations, Currie Cup, end of year tour. Finish last weekend in November, and you start up in February again. That's the cleanest we've had it.
Yep. I think. Sorry, Jean.
Don't be sorry.
Don't be sorry. I think where you want to get to is as much as rugby as you want to look after your own, there's no joy in seeing rugby. You want the game to grow globally. So there's no joy in seeing, Super Rugby kicked us out. We in the North now, stuff them. No, we actually want Super Rugby to be a good competition. We want Australia to be strong. Because the reality is a weak Australian team doesn't help anybody. Because, you're going to go, they come here next year. Next thing, you got a stadium that's half empty.
Yeah. Also, look at the Lions go there next year. I mean, the biggest thing we've got, the biggest long tour we've got until the 2026 New Zealand long tour to South Africa. I mean, you want that to be as competitive as anything, You
don't want to get there and it's a whitewash and it's a series that no one really remembers.
But
so my question is, you want global, right? You want all the competition strong. I mean, as good as URC is for South Africa, it's only the Stormers and probably the Sharks that really good crowds. And the Derby games, obviously. But if you look at the full houses...
No, the Bulls also got some decent crowds.
Yeah, they get decent... You spend a lot of time in Pretoria last year.
You're
the Bulls specialist in commentary there.
The Bulls, the most amazing game last year was that it was a bit of a break, and then was this big build-up about, North versus South Derby. They leveraged all the old games, us playing, tackling, whatever, and there was a sellout for a game that didn't have any of the Springboks playing. They were all...
game.
Yeah.
That was big. Yeah.
They were all in a alignment camp, but with the price of your admission, you got entertainment on the B field, all the bands were up. And I guess that's the challenge, you've got to make it, it can't only be rugby, it's got to be an event.
It needs to be a collective effort from everyone as well to help promote, to add more than just
that from the Bulls was outstanding.
It's the age-old thing where I think we just push too many competitions, too much rugby, and we're diluting the product by doing that.
The more is more. It's not what we should be chasing.
Whereas we should firstly global season, and then we should have a relook at our competitions in South Africa and where we plot it, when we have it. Currie Cup has changed drastically in terms of the value of the Currie Cup and what it actually does for South Africa. Where does it fit in? and everything, you know, from Varsity Cup to Currie Cup to URC to Champions Cup to Test matches.
But look at this.
Where do you put it and where is it
Look,
best?
this weekend, like we were down Shimmie to work in Cape Town.
Yeah.
Bulls Stormers opening game. It got moved because Currie Cup's finals taking place on the first round of the URC, and the Bulls are in it. So they had to move it around. So we've now got a lovely gig there at Supersport Randburg late night. Shimmie, me and you.
10 o'clock kickoff.
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock kickoff. We'll be done by.
Our bedtime's about 10.
It will be done by 1, Shim. Yeah. I'll get the takeaway coffees ready for us. I'll get the flask out. Where's the test match this weekend?
What is that? I said it the other day.
Yeah.
Something Santiago.
I've only played in Buenos Aires, boys. I've never
really?
done some of the others.
But it's hostile there,
Salta.
Scala. So the crowd, Argentina's intense.
I,
Soccer stadiums, all of them.
I mean, I think you sent it through on our little group chat when John nearly killed Lucas Borges. That was in Buenos Aires 2005.
You feel bad about that?
When I'm not keeping Paul safe from shoplifters, I save lives.
Michael Bollais in the haze.
You know there's a moat when you push the
Mikey Bollais.
I didn't know.
He was just holding on the ball. Eh?
Guys, that was the scariest thing ever because you know how the advertising boards is like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the field's here
Yeah.
and the moat's here, but I didn't know about the moat.
Yeah.
Even though I played there previously.
Yeah.
Did you know about the moat prior to that?
Yeah, I was kicking balls to touch, and I kicked one ball in there, gone.
I never kicked into touch.
You never
So
kicked.
now when I wanted the ball, so I pushed him, and as the advertising board goes like that, I see that there's trouble down there.
Yeah.
And I literally just stuck out a hand, luckily caught his sock,
He grabbed onto you.
I got his ankle, arm curled him up.
Arm called himself into a yellow card as well. How many yellow cards did he get for the box?
No,
You get a yellow?
Yeah, he got a
then the
yellow
other
card.
guys helped to get him up, and then they wanted to punch me, and then I got a yellow card for it.
What year was that?
2005.
Was that the test? Who was the fluff? Was it Andre Pistorius?
Yes. Yes.
That's the one, man. Scala, it was the soccer stadium with the high fencing.
Yes.
I still remember the one guy ran out by himself and did like a loop around, and Andre was like, "Oh, I think we're in cut today." I still remember. Remember, it was.
But there was all I remember from that game is the one stand was the speakers.
Yeah.
And they were blaring that music from the one side, and they were.
They go like.
Yeah.
No, because I remember it's like a dungeon. Because you
I
walk
was,
out from.
I was on, yeah, we were down the bottom. I was on the bench.
Yeah.
Stoli Tipalika started.
Yeah.
And then me and Jacques Fourie had a very eventful build-up to our experience. He was also on the bench with me. And then we were sitting there hiding, not to go out, because we knew if we go out, Jake White's going to say, start warming up. So we just sat in the dugout. We didn't go out. First time I showed my face was like 35 minutes when I actually had to go to the bathroom down the corner. As I went down, I got collared there by Dr. Derek saying, Scala, you went over. I was like, no, leave me. It was like a hot day. It was in November, just before we went to Bariloche.
Yeah, I still remember that they had that's when the crowd, because it gets hot there, they've got those fire hoses.
Yes.
And
And
the
they
guys
spray
take
the.
tops off and the guys come with the fire hoses, and the crowd actually runs towards the fence.
And they
So you can
they
spray the
cool
guys
them
and
down.
cool them down.
Yeah, we
Wasn't
went,
Maradona at that game though, but in the Argentinian change room?
might have
I
been.
think that's the one where I think Maradona it was one of the Argentinian games. I think it might have been that one, where he actually wanted to meet us, and the Argentinians were like, no, come say hi to our team, and that was it.
Oh, no ways. That
Yeah.
would have been so cool. Santiago del Estero.
Okay, I've never been there.
And that is.
Apparently, it's like playing in Saldana.
Aeropuerto Santiago del Estero, yeah.
Small little town, probably the furthest place you can play.
So we did Buenos Aires in 2005, and then we went back there in 2015. And there was a couple of us who made both trips. It was Brian, Abena, Victor, and myself, if I'm not mistaken.
When was that?
2015, 10 years after we played them there last. We went 05, 15, and then for us, as traveling tourists, the Jaguares came in.
Salta, but is it not Salta?
Buenos Aires was like on the Super Rugby roster. It was amazing.
But tough though.
Hard place to go, man.
Tough. This team will be tough this weekend.
Also, we don't know what side's pitching up for them. I mean, like if you look at their performances, when they're on, they're absolutely on. But like even when they beat Australia, the first 20 they were terrible.
Yeah.
23
down, and then they go and score 9 tries in the next 60. 4 from minute 73 to minute 80.
But also not like, it wasn't like fancy trick plays or getting around them or good running lines to to beat the defence. It was a lot of it just the Aussies not fronting up, eh? You know, missing tackles, just not being physical enough. And you're not going to get that against us.
Yeah.
We that's kind of the
Also, like,
standard for the Boks.
We can go toe to toe with Argentina.
Unless there's a unless there's a game where there's no scrums for the first 60 minutes, our scrum's going to dominate.
Obliterate them, yeah.
It's going to obliterate them, and that was their issue. The first test match in the wet weather.
Again,
They didn't. Their lineout wasn't strong enough. Their set piece was under massive pressure, so they couldn't actually exert a lot of pressure on Australia. But I tell you what, if we pitch up with a mentality like, say, New Zealand did in the first test match in Wellington, where you want to play a lot of rugby from deep and you offer them a lot of targets in your own half, and we're inaccurate like we have been at times in our own half. I mean, if they up for it, I mean, they're the hardest team to actually get momentum again.
Yeah.
The chop tackle onto the breakdown. And if they had a look at our last test match, they will say, listen, guys, momentum is key, gain line's key, hit the targets, chop tackle, breakdown. Try and get success that way.
and you know what? Even that specific game in 2005 against Argentina, they eventually, when they get on top, they've got the ability to get the ball away from contact.
Yeah.
So, you know, not structured play.
Little pick and goes, offload.
Exactly. And you constantly, and it's difficult to kind of set your defense because you don't know where they're attacking.
You almost want to form a ruck where you can just like force them to have a bit of structure.
Get in
but,
control.
they tend to roll through it. Yeah.
But also you look at Matera's been around, Montoya been around,
Kremer.
Kramer been. There's a lot of experience
Yeah.
in that Argentinian team.
Lavanini is still running around there for them.
I think that big change came when Cheika got involved with them. I think 2 or 3 seasons ago, where the belief came, the Cheika confidence. That that was an extension into that team, and they believed that they could win. That's when they beat New Zealand. Mario Ledesma was there also.
Yes.
And by all accounts, we're going to be selecting a quite an exciting backline.
Give us your backline. I know you like this one. Okay.
Jaden Hendricks, Marnie Lamok, Mapimpi, Moody, Curtly Orange, Fassi.
Try time.
Very exciting backline, but if you go wide too early, if you become loose too early, that is when you go deeper and deeper and deeper. And also, what pack do you put with that? You know, so if you have a nice solid foundation,
Especially when you think like if you look at it like where our pack can really get a hold of them.
Yeah.
Set piece wise.
Oh, then.
Yeah. Cool guys. We need Willie Leroux out, Damien Dalenda, Bongi Monambi, Frans Malherbe, Peter Steph Tutoy. All played against New Zealand. They haven't travelled.
Yeah.
Sasha Feinberg and Gomezulu is injured, and Grant Williams.
So Damien Willems and Steven Kitsoff
and Lotte Jager and Jean Klein.
Yeah,
there's a lot. Mentioning experience, Eben Etzebeth equals Victor. Well, if he plays, equals Victor's record for most cap. Eben will get to 150.
There's no chance he does not play.
Who? Eben?
This weekend, whether off the bench or starting.
No, he'll play. Look.
Yeah. No,
but I mean, what a player's been. I mean, let's talk.
There's no ways they're not taking him over them not playing.
It's 126, 127.
127.
He'll easily get to 150.
I also think so, and I think it'll be fantastic that he plays. He goes past the record in South Africa, probably in that Nelspruit test match. It'll just be cool, great recognition.
These guys, it's a lot of.
But what an impact he's had.
Caps,
I mean, I still remember doing commentary when he was playing for UCT Varsity Cup.
Yeah.
And even then, he would have been 19. Him and Hilton Loberts, I think, were the lot.
I know.
Yeah. But then you could see. I was like, this guy's too good to be playing Varsity Cup, even at 19.
They won it that year, didn't they?
Yeah, they won it.
They won it in Pretoria.
You could just see that he was too good to.
Yeah.
You got that feeling that shucks, this guy could easily slot into Currie Cup back then, or even Super
here's
Rugby
the thing.
at
So
19.
he made his debut in 2012 for the Boks. 2024, now 12 years later, he's 127 test matches. He's averaging more than 10 test matches a year.
Yeah.
That's an impressive strike rate.
I didn't quite have the same strike
Yes.
rate. I also played for 12 years. I'm at 86.
That's the thing. So
Played too many games for my club, I guess that was a problem.
I played 13 years.
Yeah, but the thing is, Eben shows up every weekend, though. That's one thing.
He does.
I can't think of a game where he hasn't shown up. Physically,
Like
doing
I
the
remember-
hard stuff, all of that.
I had beers with John Smith once. I can't remember, like a pre-season build-up thing, or maybe we played the Sharks one year, and he's like, "Is there any youngsters coming through?" And I said, "No, I think there's only one. It's Eben." And he was like, "How good is he?" I said, "No, I think he can be a Bok in a couple of years' time." And he's like, are you that convinced? And yeah, I said, shit, it's not often a kid comes around and you think, same with Stephen Kitsoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stephen came there as a schoolboy. Remember, me and John tried to get Hanre Pollard to sign at Province. We basically got him a lift through. He trained with us a few times.
Yeah.
Didn't work. He still went to the bloody Bulls.
You guys aren't great salesmen.
No, we're not. Well, we couldn't. Yeah, we couldn't get the deal done. But yeah,
Tough when they start signing them at the age of
but it's
15.
also like
Which you can't really
it's
do
also-
anyway, legally.
I also love the fact that if these players come through, that they actually make the most of it. You know, like all those guys we've mentioned as Springbok legends, and Eben,
Yeah.
you know, deservedly so, is going to, you know, go past Victor's record. Although we want him to get to 150, but we also know as we get older, there can be one injury, and you know that takes a long time to get back from that.
Yeah. But I mean, you certainly look, you go through, it's what, you guys, his first World Cup would be,
3 World Cups, yeah.
was he 2015? Yeah, 2015.
23.
Go
He's won
gets to 4.
66% of all the World Cups that he's played in.
Yeah.
Easy work.
But also, I think what's impressive, and sometimes it works out that way, he's lost or he has missed out on a lot of domestic games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, provincial games, injured for a lot of that stuff, and it's just worked out that he
Plays so many test matches.
plays so many test matches. The fact that he plays such a combative game as well, and so physical
That's what I'm saying. He shows up every
Yeah.
weekend.
every single time,
He
you know,
shows
makes
up,
it
yeah.
even more impressive. So
But I mean, you look at the spine of the Springbok team, or you just look at the guys generally selected. Eben would probably be one of the first
Yeah.
in terms of the pack. Franz
Peter
Malherbe.
Steff.
Yeah. France.
Peter Steff.
Peter Steff.
You look at those three, Bongi Monambi,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and obviously the combination with him and Marks,
Marks.
and probably Ox and Chena are probably
Yeah.
the core group of that pack.
yeah,
Yeah.
Then the rest you can sort of Sia obviously.
Sia, yeah.
Yeah, Sia, yeah. Obviously, then the rest you can work around. But I mean, if you talk about global rugby, if you name a World 50 in the last 5 or 6 years, even longer,
Yeah.
it was always
They
the
there.
debate. Eben's there, and then it was obviously Retallick and Eben. You know,
yeah.
who do you choose between the
Whitelock.
two? Yeah.
I mean, a lot was made about the team of the year last year after the World Cup after he won it, but Eben snuck in there, even though they used his old photo, which makes you think that he wasn't in.
Yeah.
You know? They didn't use his 2023 photo; they used his 2019 photo.
But that
They
is
got him in there.
that is again, just to mention, I think the value of the current Springbok group. So I'm almost happy with the fact that okay, only Eben made that team as the best
four-lock.
best 15. But if you had to select
Was it only Eben?
Yeah, it's only Eben that made
only
it.
Eben in the World 15, but if you had to select 3 teams,
Yeah.
you know, A, B, and C team, then I think the whole South African squad would have been in.
Yeah.
You know, we're just so good in terms of the squad, and not too much to differentiate between our best and
Yeah.
second best.
Argentina key players for them.
Pablo Matera,
Yeah.
Kremer.
He's the soul of that team. Matera goes forward.
yeah,
Montoya.
Montoya,
Yeah.
Carreras at the
Harris is
12,
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's all about their pack. You know, Kremer.
Score
But
prediction.
they're, if they put shots on us, they've got a chance. But then they've still got to try and solve their scrum issues because, you know, we saw what the All Blacks did to them in Auckland.
Yeah.
We can do the same to them. I mean, Yolana can fail. You can sort of get away around, but trying to get it quicker, play a few bailouts, at least get your hand on the ball. If you're scrum, you can't play around your scrum. There is, I mean, as a captain, it's the absolute biggest nightmare there is. I hope the Boks get it done. I think we're good enough to get it done this weekend against them.
Score prediction.
We haven't seen the teams yet.
It's so hard.
So give me a prediction. What do you
But
think?
it's very.
You just picked the backline.
What? But I mean, that's me.
Yeah.
No, okay. if that backline plays,
Yeah, and the forwards.
let's say okay.
And who
Franz
they
Malherbe-
playing against?
Vincent Koch, Malcolm Marks. Is Ox is onto Ox.
Jan Hendrik Wessels.
Jan-Hendrik Wessels.
He's-
The 4 front rows.
No.
Selected 4.
I'm picking the bench now.
Yeah, he's the
And
utility
then
up front.
Thomas Tutoy at tight head prop reserve. Eben starts at lock. Ron Nokia, Sia, Visa, blindside BJ Dixon.
Yeah, it's a good pack of forwards too. It's a
There we
good
go.
side.
Give me a prediction. I've just
Who they
selected
playing against? Just give me your Argentinian team.
the Argentinian side. Carreras.
The problem is this Argentinian side, they don't know which is going to pick
Yeah,
what teams
they
pitching
could
up themselves. So
Select the same team, but a different one.
let's say, for example, they pitch up with their B game, we win comfortably. but then if they pitch up with their A game, it's going to be a proper test match.
Yeah. We've
There's
won the convincingly the last couple of years.
There's
Yeah.
an interesting observation and comment that was made about if the Boks can, the fact that they beat the All Blacks twice now, and we've got a couple of games, so what's it, five in a row
Yeah.
that we've won. You win these 2, 7, end of year 2, and then potentially you could start looking at the 17 game.
Oh,
Jeez, that's a long. You can't say that.
that always worries me when people start counting.
I know.
Also,
That's when as soon as you start counting, that's when it falls away. Let's just rather take a test.
guys,
by
let's-
test.
That's
So
why
give me a
let's
score
make-
prediction.
that's why I don't want to talk about it.
let's make a promise now that if we do get to 15, 16, 17, whatever, we're not mentioning anything.
We're not counting.
It's like inter-schools week. You can never say Paul Jim's going to beat. You never say it. Same with this box side. We're not looking ahead.
Don't
Why are
count.
we not mentioning? We're not mentioning.
We're not
No, we're
mentioning the record.
What record?
What record?
I like
Okay,
it.
score prediction then this weekend.
I'm saying the Springboks by 14.
Scala?
Yeah, I think it's a good guess. I think Argentina is going to be up for this one. So I think the box, I'll go by a bit less. Let's say box by 8.
Box by 8. Okay, I'll say box by 8.
And then we go and see, when the teams comes out, we'll have a better prediction. But
Yeah. Australia, can they beat New Zealand
no,
in Sydney? I think the test is in Sydney.
no. Aren't they playing in Melbourne?
They're playing in Australia.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for your preparation.
I can't see it happening. No.
Yeah. Both sides, 1 win from 4 matches. Who thought that would have happened?
Yeah.
Even the All Blacks.
the
is
All
good.
Blacks just so much better than
Yeah.
Australia.
So
Even though
New Zealand to win.
result same, yeah.
So Joe Schmidt still under the pump. Well, the Australian. Look, I tell you what. I mean, I've been listening to a lot of their podcasts and their shows that side. Even with the Argentina loss, the Australian pundits, they're actually
staying
quite
positive, yeah.
they're staying positive. And
That's
they
good.
understand. There's a self-awareness
Yeah.
there about what's happening in Australian rugby.
And it is. I mean, you know, you need to be realistic about what's lying ahead, what you have, and what you're working towards. Even though the results are the same for Australia and New Zealand in the rugby championship, we haven't seen the All Blacks just
No.
be obliterated the way that Australia, against Argentina, and even when we played them, So I think the quality in the All Black team is.
There's too much quality in the All Black side, and we all know they don't like losing. They bounce back big time. So, those players, coaching staff, they don't have a choice.
Yeah.
They'll bounce back, and I think they'll be way better for the tour to South Africa than they were before that.
Yeah.
It was a proper 2 test matches, and the margins were so small.
Yeah.
So small. With 60 minutes to go, they led both test matches.
Yeah.
20 minutes to go, they
Yeah.
led both test matches. 60 minutes into them. So it's small margins.
Playing in
It's
Sydney.
in Sydney.
So New Zealand to win that, and obviously
Yeah.
the Australia aren't going to win in New Zealand. So New Zealand to win the last 2.
Yeah. Yeah, for
Next
sure.
That's what I think, yeah.
Finally, Steve Borthwick, Norman Laker's name has popped up as a
Hey.
possible. He's on the Norman.
Yeah. I also
Norman,
read,
yeah.
I also,
how's that?
Norman.
Norman, yeah, Stormers
Also-
defense coach. How's that?
I also
And the other name?
There's a short list apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because I think what's happened is Felix has come with this rush defense.
Yeah.
From my understanding, the only team that sort of gets the rush quite well is if you watch Exeter.
Yeah.
And guess who the defense coach is there?
Thingy.
Omar.
Omar Munimi.
Omar Munimi, yeah. So now you got guys that obviously I think they're trying to replicate. So Norman's worked extensively with Felix and with Jacques more than anything else. Norman started when Jacques was at the Storm. So it's obviously the ability to replicate that sort of rush defense that England, I must say, got used to towards the end of the
Yeah, so they
international
wanna
season.
continue with
Omar
it.
started under Rassi.
Yeah,
Rassi
remember,
brought him
how's
in,
that,
and then
eh?
he studied from Jacques Ninova.
How's that?
And
I
then
mean,
he
Omar
went-
was obviously good with very good with the contact stuff and all that because he bought the MMA stuff. So Omar obviously had Exeter, but they've got a good. I remember watching them against Toulouse. They obviously in Toulouse had better quality players, but the rush they actually had Toulouse under pressure in the beginning. But Norman Laker now Stormers defense coach on the short list for
Very interesting.
yeah.
I mean,
You didn't know that, did you?
no, I didn't.
Yeah, no, it's,
I
it's
read-
literally the last day or so.
I read it last
last
night, I think I was. You still want to know what happened there to Felix. Obviously, he went across as a D coach.
Yeah.
We all knew him as an attack coach. I mean, he's a great coach either way. Like he'll be able to convert to
But you could learn and convert and.
But like, I mean, if you've done attack for, 4 years with the Boks, was it 4 years? Longer? Felix?
No.
6 years.
Jacques
Five
did the
years,
D, and then obviously,
Yeah. the attack.
Felix was more strategy and a bit of an attack and a bit of everything there.
He joined the start of 2019, didn't he? The thing with Norman, let's say he goes to England, it's always interesting to see how he adapts culturally, because if you think the way that he technically and coaching,
He's a very good coach.
is one
He's a
thing,
great coach, yeah.
but it's also getting your message across with guys from other nationalities, etc. And sometimes it's, as they say, lost in translation.
Have you heard Sean Edwards trying to speak French?
I have not.
You were talking about lost in translation.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That it's great that his name has popped up and that he's considering that, because I think it's credit to the environment here as well that you can.
Look, he might not
become
leave, but it's a
better.
nice thing. It's a nice thing to know that
course it
someone's
is.
watching.
If you look at the two names on the list, it gives you an idea of how Steve wants his side to defend. There's got to be line speed.
Yeah.
Got to be aggressive. You want to defend to get the ball back. That's why you get someone who does a rush, puts pressure on other sides. You want them to make errors.
England were good. Look, they were also unlucky not to win in New Zealand.
Yes.
Considering they hadn't won then since Clive, 2003. Clive
That's
Wood.
why I couldn't understand the two resignations in the coaching staff, because I thought they were trending.
Yeah. But look, either way, whoever they choose, I think Norman would he strengthen the England defensive system? Yes. Would he do a good job? Yes.
Yes.
That's a thing. It's a nice thing for him to have.
Those two names on the list.
No, I don't know. I just mentioned the only team I see doing a rush defense quite well in the UK is Exeter. Because I watched a lot of the Premiership. I thought, obviously they went quite far deep in the Champions Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there were stages where I watched, I was like, when you...
And with the young squad.
Yeah, with the young squad, I was like, these guys are putting proper hits on their physical, better quality of player, and obviously they can sustain it longer.
And if the Stormers, is there anyone to take over from Norman if Norman does vacate the place?
I wouldn't know.
Okay.
Look at one of the junior coaches.
Thank you for the insight.
It would be one of the junior coaches.
Why are you interested?
Interested.
No, I'm not doing that role. Okay, thank you.
Okay, guys, we've got a new game.
Oh,
Yes,
no.
I love games. I love it.
I hate
Yeah,
games.
off near. Yeah, off near. Yes, off near. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, like,
Okay.
Yeah.
The rules are simple. You can only say yeah or near and have to answer every question honestly.
Yeah.
10 questions, quick fire.
Okay.
Are we asking you as well?
No.
Is he going, me going around?
You guys can go at the same time.
Okay.
Are Ireland chokers at World Cups?
Yeah.
Has Victor Matfield had a hair transplant?
Yeah.
Does Skalk need a hair transplant?
Yeah.
Would South Africa's second 15 beat any other country's first team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Go.
Is Woolworths better than Pick and Pay?
Yeah. He's probably sponsored by
Well, he's sponsored by Pick and Pay. He's sponsored
In terms of what? Better in terms of what?
food.
Oh.
We
but
play
that's
golf. We play golf against Sean Summers. He's going to kill me.
not- Exactly.
We haven't won.
Okay, I'll ask
we
you
haven't
again.
beaten them yet.
I'll ask you again. Is Woolworths better than Pick? Think about this one. Think about this one very deeply. You
Yeah.
play with the CEO, Scala.
Yeah.
Eh?
I know.
A giant in South African retail.
Like, I mean,
Eh? Is Woolworths better than Pick and Pay?
yeah.
Without Dupont playing, would France win anything? Without
Yeah.
him. Okay. Does Jean need to concentrate on his legs in the gym?
Yeah.
Did you ever lie to Justin Marshall to get out of a day on the piss with him?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would.
Would you? Yes. Have I?
Okay. Would you trust Joe Funikirk's alternative medicines?
Yeah. I love things, but I'm not sold. Yeah.
Will the Springboks win the next World Cup?
Yo.
Yeah.
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 Oh, yeah.
We're always in with a chance. Yeah. That's a good one.
I like your game, Shimmie.
It's a great game. All right, guys, Chivas, that's it.
Actually, we've got some questions for you as well, Shimmie.
Yeah, and yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Next week. We'll
Okay, next week, look, I answered some of these. You sure about the Woolies Pick and Pay ones, Kala?
My phone's going to be burning my pocket when this episode comes out. And,
Okay.
and there will be a rematch on the cards.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee you, me and John, we're not winning that one.
Exactly. He'll be gunning for you.
But Burger van der Merwe is with Woolworths.
I know.
He's a good man, Berger.
Yeah, he's a good man.
Yeah, he's a good
He'll
man.
be proud.
Yeah. Guys, thank you very much. So Scala, we in studio this weekend. JDV. La Familia.
I'll watch,
I mean,
Watch
look
us,
at
eh?
it.
I'll watch you guys on TV. But you must enjoy the trip to Joburg.
This feels, I mean, such a sense of deja vu. Me and you on the game, weekend off.
I'm actually up in Joburg on Thursday.
Yeah.
And
And then
Jean de Villiers is the most sponsored player in
That-
world rugby.
No, then I realized I forgot to book flights. So last night,
Yeah.
I started looking for flights. Easy to get a flight to Joburg.
Can't get back.
I can only get back on Saturday.
You're not going to Joburg anymore.
No, I am. Luckily, I've got some.
A harvest.
No, not a harvest. I can.
Did you make an
Been able
Instagram
to.
reel asking for a flight? No.
How's your protein business going?
I could.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should try it.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. That's it for this week. We were here at Bishop's. I did the wrong turn, went to Weinberg. Weinberg one day. We'll show you a bit of love in the box office. We'll be there. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, gentlemen. The box office is now closed.
Thanks, Shemansky.
Thanks.